Hey YouTube, Devin here with Comics and Stuff. Happy Friday. Sorry that I missed last Friday. It's just been hectic with the new baby. Hope everybody is having a great week. Today's video is a brief history on Harvey Comics. So a lot of you guys seem to really like these comic book company history videos, so I've been doing more companies. This one is going to be on Harvey Comics. Got my notes up here. So Harvey Comics was founded in the 1940s. As you know, most of these companies were 30s or 40s. It was founded in 1941 by the Harvey brothers, which were Alfred, Robert, and Leon Harvey. And that was after purchasing a small publishing company called Brookwood Publishing. When the purchase of Brookwood Publishing came, their main title, it came with their main title, which was Speed Comics, with Shock Gibson and Captain Freedom as their headlining characters. So they already had a comic line right then and there, right when they purchased the company. 1942, they also obtained the license for the popular radio serial character, the Green Hornet, who's one of my personal favorite superheroes. And they also got other licensed characters like Joe Palooka, Blondie, and Dick Tracy. That was kind of their introduction. That's when they started in the 1940s. You move on to 1950s, they started working with Famous Studios as an offshoot of Paramount Pictures. I'm sure you all know who Paramount Pictures is. And in 1951, they started publishing characters like Casper the Friendly Ghost, which was a Paramount character. And then in 1958, they ended up purchasing Famous Studios from Paramount and got all of their licensed characters with it. In the 60s, they attempted to foray into superhero action and horror comics. So they started their own imprints. Their most popular one was Harvey Thriller, but unfortunately, they ultimately failed. But they did have Double Dare Adventures #1, which is the first appearance of B-Man, and he's one of my favorite obscure superheroes. It's if you guys ever look it up, Double Dare Comics #1. It's kind of hilarious. B-Man, just saying. Anyhow, and then they also had Warren Kenner, who was brought onto the Harvey Comics team, and he created famous iconic characters like Richie Rich and Hot Stuff the Little Devil. For those of you who don't know Richie Rich, I mean, his first appearance, Richie Rich #1, now goes for, like $1,000 in good condition. So, I mean, that's pretty big. The 1970s for Harvey was pretty quiet. They didn't really have a lot going on. And then in the 1980s, Harvey Comics saw a large decline in sales, and they were under the leadership of Sid Jacobson, and he ended up actually optioning to sell the entire company to Marvel Comics. But the deal did eventually fall apart after the two remaining Harvey brothers, so Alfred and Leon, had a disagreement over it, and so they could not go through with the sale. In 1987, Harvey sued Columbia Pictures for $50 million, claiming that the Ghostbusters logo was reminiscent of Fatso, which was one of Casper's older brothers, if you guys know Casper. But the lawsuit was dropped due to Harvey failing to renew the copyrights on early Casper stories and likenesses of their characters. So there was kind of a weird legal loophole there. And then in 1989, Harvey sold to HMH Communications and renamed Harvey Comic Entertainment. Then you go up to the 1990s. HCE published classic Harvey Comics under the title Harvey Classics up until 1994 when they ceased publishing. HMH Communications sold off Harvey's various assets to Universal Studios, and in the end, Marvel Comics ended up getting the rights to Casper from HMH, which led to the Casper movies that we all know and love. If you guys grew up watching Casper, thank Marvel for that. And then that was it for the 90s. We get into the 2000s. Nothing really happened. 2000s were also just as quiet. And then in the 2010s, as early as actually last year, 2017, DreamWorks Animation and Netflix announced a new original series called Harvey Street Kids based on Harvey characters, which was slated for release in 2018, though I have not seen any new news of it. So that was my all too brief history of Harvey Comics. So Harvey was in and out. Not a whole lot going on, but they were a very reputable company. They had a lot of really big name characters. Richie Rich, for those who are really into collecting old, slice of life comic books. Casper, a lot of people love early Casper stuff. He's really popular. And without Harvey, we wouldn't have actually gotten those. They were the ones who brought it to life. And then we wouldn't have kooky, weird ones such as B-Man, who was actually featured in the League of Regrettable Superheroes, which is just a funny book. If you've never read it, read it. But that's really it. This was the all too brief history of Harvey Comics. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you all next week.